Hello my friends, welcome back to my home studio. My name is Shannon and today we'll be practicing a sequence for upper body to strengthen the upper body. So for this practice I recommend at least one block, actually 2 blocks, let's say 2 blocks. And if you don't have blocks you can have dictionaries or thick books wrapped in a cotton bag, that's another option. So let's come into our first pose. We're going to come into a chest opener. So we often have a posture that's hunched based on our lifestyle, bad posture, or particularly because of phones and computers. So this is a wonderful pose that you could do anytime you want, just as a counter pose. So we're placing a block on the mat or our book, and just so you have enough space for your head. And then slowly coming down onto your forearms, bending your knees. So we want the block to be long ways behind our chest. So with our hands we just feel what feels right and make sure there's enough space for your head. And then once you feel that the block is in the right position, slowly come to lie down and maneuver yourself and drop your head behind your block. We'll be here for about 4 minutes. If you feel your neck is too compressed, you can always place a thin blanket under your head. The main thing is we want the chest to feel open. So let your arms rest away from your body. Let your feet rest as wide as the mat. And just breathe out 2 times, one more time. And just let everything go. And just surrender into the pose. Allow yourself to melt. If your mind gets distracted with thoughts or sounds, just gently come back to the pose, to the breath. We'll be holding the poses about 4 minutes each. Yin is the practice of acceptance, letting go, and just being. So we just keep coming back to that concept or theme of letting go, just being, surrendering. Notice how the body starts to relax during the pose. Take 2 deep breaths here and exhale through your mouth. And then gently bend your knees, bring your feet behind your buttocks, and then slowly roll to one side and remove your block or your books and bring them away from you. And then bring your feet as wide as the mat. Keep your knees bent and drop your knees to touch. And just feeling the results of the last pose. And then gently bring your knees to your chest and hug your knees. And then we're going to slowly come up to seated. Wonderful. So we're going to come into our next pose, which is a counter pose to the last pose. If you like, you can sit on a blanket or a cushion, just to give yourself a pelvic tilt. It's particularly helpful if you have a tight lower back, but it's not necessary. You don't need to sit on anything if you don't feel the need. And then we're going to come into butterfly. So we bring our feet to touch. And then what we're going to do is slowly let the spine curl very naturally without any pulling. We don't use our muscles. And we just let the spine curl and then let your head drop. Just let your head be heavy. Just let your arms rest alongside your feet with your palms facing up. So we're rounding the spine here. If you'd like some support for your practice, you could use a block under each knee or thigh just to support your legs. And you could also place some kind of support under your head if you feel the need, like a couple of blocks or one block, or you just adjust the blocks to your body. So let's settle here for a few minutes, 4 minutes. And just let your head be heavy. Let your spine curl. Surrender into the pose. As we fold forward, we're compressing all the tissues in our back, keeping them elastic, keeping them moist. Let the head be heavy, shoulders fully relaxed. And notice how the body may be softening further into the pose. Taking 2 deep breaths here. Exhale through your mouth. Then gently pushing your hands into the floor. Slowly push yourself up very gently. Bring your head up last. Take your time. And then bring your knees together using your hands. And bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Keep the knees bent. And then we're going to lean back on our hands, keeping our chest raised, and we're going to drop our knees from one side to the other. Just releasing any tension from the lower back. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into our next pose, which is called Thread the Needle. And we come onto our hands and knees. Again, if you'd like padding for your knees, you can always have a blanket under your knees. So coming onto our hands and knees. Beautiful. So we have a flat back here, and we're on our hands and knees. Then we take the right hand, thread it under the left arm with the palm facing up, and then you just extend the arm away. Bring the right side of your face down, and then with the left hand you can have your elbow bent and just pressing your hand into the floor. Or if you want to go deeper, you can extend your arm away from you. And we'll be here for about 3 or 4 minutes. So when we push our hand into the floor, the left hand, we're slightly deepening the twist in the upper back. So just feel that as your target area. And just feel your way into this twist in the upper back, using your left hand, positioning it where you need. And again, really being curious about the physical experience of thread the needle, noticing what's happening in the body. And take 2 deep breaths here. And then very gently push yourself out of the pose, coming out very slowly. And then we're going to come and sit into child's pose. Just bring your legs together and your head down, arms by your side. If this is not available for you, you can always have your knees spread wide, placing a cushion under your buttocks or a block under your head. Beautiful. Okay, so coming up onto our hands and knees again. We're now going to change sides. So hands are under your shoulders, knees as wide as your hips, your toes are down. And then we take the left hand, fingers, palms facing up, and thread it under the right arm. Slide that left arm away from you, resting on your shoulder, resting on the side of your head. Place your right hand just to the side of your head and just in front. Bend your elbow, and pushing into the floor with your right hand can help you to deepen this upper back twist. If you are very flexible, it's possible that you could roll onto your shoulder blade and more onto the back of your head. The point of the pose is to twist the upper back, middle back, and upper back. And take 2 deep breaths here. And then gently releasing from the pose. Take your time. And then gently sit back into child's pose. And then gently pushing yourself up. Okay, so for the next pose, we may need 2 blocks. It's really a choice. So just have your blocks nearby. And this is the sort of final and peak pose of the upper body practice of yin. So it can be quite intense. But I'll show you all the variations and you can see what works for your body. So we come onto our mats, and if you like, again, you can bring a blanket under your knees, and we come more than halfway back. So onto the knees, and then we walk our hands as far forward as we can, keeping our hips above our knees. And then we slowly start to drop our chin or our forehead down to the mat. So this is called puppy pose. So you can come down onto your forehead, onto your cheek, or onto your chin. And if you want to take it even deeper, you can place your hands under blocks or books, and that will take it deeper. So it's quite a big compression on the shoulders, and just see what's possible for you. So you rest your hands on the blocks, and then again bring your head down to the mat, your cheek or your chin. So coming into the pose, we'll be here for about 3 minutes. Take 2 deep breaths here. And very gently come out of the pose, taking your time, and then slowly come down to lie on your back for Shavasana, the final pose. Come all the way down. Keep your feet as wide as the mat. Arms away from the body with the palms facing up. And just let your body be heavy. Letting go. Closing your eyes. And slowly start to deepen your breath. Moving your fingers and toes. And rock your head from side to side. Take a nice big stretch. And then very slowly come up to seated with your eyes closed. So thank you very much, my friends, for joining me to practice today. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Namaste, and see you on the mat soon.